In this episode, we reconnect with Taylor Jackson, host of A Photographer In, where we talk about travel and how to have adventure and how to hang out with pandas. Let's check it out in this episode of The Ambitious Life.
I'm a man on a mission.
My mission in life is how can I put amazing things out into the world so that I can pay it forward to the next generation. I'm just here to help you so that you can do and fulfill whatever mission that you have in your life.
I think it's really funny. The first time that we ever interacted, you were like, "Hey man, you want to go to Vegas and film a course?" And I was like, "Okay." Yeah. What's crazy? So it didn't end up happening, but it showed me even back then. I mean, this is probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, but ever since then and even before then, you've always made travel a focal point of your life, haven't you?
Yeah, it's I think I've kind of always described it as traveling with a purpose. Mm-hmm. And that if I'm doing a trip, if I'm going on vacation, that I want to come back with something professionally, I guess.
Yeah.
So either that manifests itself in like doing a course or shooting a travel show or just taking some pictures that I normally wouldn't take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always something that I'm thinking about every time that I go anywhere.
Where did that thought of like, I do want to travel and I do want to see the world, like where did that come from? Like were you raised that way? Like did your parents take you on trips or did they not take you on trips and therefore you want to see the world? And like where did that come from?
My dad would actually drive us all the way from Toronto, where we're at, to Florida. So we come
That's
down.
a trip and a half
either
right
like
there.
Yeah, we've been to like Daytona Beach, we've been to and it's like a 22-hour drive, I think.
Yeah.
And it was he kind of taught me to enjoy the adventure getting to a destination and not necessarily just the destination. Which I think is something that you learn by driving to a place that there's all this anticipation once you get there. The place is even cooler because it took so long to get there. And I think that's kind of where my travel mindset came from.
Yeah. And you've also built the kind of your business around that as well. So you shoot weddings, you shoot a TV show, and then you do some other stuff, some commercial shoots and things like that in between. And it gives you the freedom and flexibility to travel to where you don't have to be in a place for 2 weeks at a time, like regular folk. But I mean, how have you been able to build the business around that to allow yourself to travel?
It was always the goal from the very beginning. I knew that one, that I needed to outsource anything that I wasn't enjoying, which I did really quickly, and then yeah, it was just kind of, if I can manage it from my laptop, it's something I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I think about any time that I get a contract or anything like that. If it ties me to a place for like 4 months and I can't get out of that if it's 9 to 5 for that long, it's just something that I pass on, even if it is like a financially good opportunity.
Yeah.
But I value just freedom and ability to go wherever and kind of do whatever over money any day of the week.
Do you sometimes force yourself to travel? Like, hey man, I haven't been on the road in a little bit. Let's go. Like, well, it's funny. Like even like this trip, you're like, I don't know, Greg, what are you doing on this date? You want to like hang out for a couple days? You know, like this. You really didn't have any purpose to sometimes your travel. Again, there is some purposeful travel, like we talked about earlier. Like we're filming some stuff, we're gonna do some cool stuff while you're here. But like, you're just like, let's just go.
Yeah. Well, I think the more that I travel, the more that I realize that it's very easy to add an extra day and do something that maybe wasn't on your original itinerary. And yeah, that's kind of what Orlando was this time, that I thought that I'd come out here because basically flying from Canada is expensive, but once you're in the States, the price comes down a lot. So a flight from here to San Diego, where I'm off to, isn't that expensive. So
so kill a day or two here, then head out to San Diego, and you're doing the cruise and stuff out there. So
yeah, just always kind of, I think there's like a level of inspiration that comes from that too, that if you book a flight to somewhere that maybe you wouldn't usually go, that you get to see something else that that you wouldn't.
How much planning and prep goes into that? So I'm a big fan of like exactly what you said. The day before you have to maybe start an event or stay a day after. Like every time I go to Hollywood, California, we throw a big event every year. Like I stay another 2-3 days because like I want to go explore. I want to go check out a Dodgers game. I want to go, hike up Runyon Canyon, whatever it is. Like, does much planning and thought go into the day before or day after, or is it more just like let's just see how it goes?
It totally depends. Like Iceland, the first time that I ever went was you can do this stopover thing through Iceland Air, that if you're flying to Europe, that you can just kind of take as many days after, like you connect and you just stay in Iceland for like 4 or 5 dadays.
Oh wow.
Which is a really cool service, and that's the reason that I experienced that country for the first time. And that was no real plan. I was just like the cool landscape, so maybe I'll enjoy it, and then it turns out that I love it. So I guess happy accidents.
So what are some tips to have happy accidents? I think a lot of people are like, they have to like plan meticulously from like 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we're doing this. And then we're going like, what are some tips that you have for people to like create those happy accidents so they can open up their mind, they can explore more? Like, I love what you do is like, you go and like, you see like the natural stuff and you're like going, let's go find the locals and let's go find the local spots. Like, what are some tips that you have for people to have those happy accidents?
I would say for booking travel, I always use Skyscanner to price out flights. So basically what I'll do is I'll be like, I know that I am at London Heathrow this day, and then it'll just sort by the cheapest places to go.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up in going to Chernobyl, and that's how I ended up going to Israel. It was just because the way that the flights connected, that it was like a $45 flight to get there. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna book that, and then figure out what you're gonna do. Maybe not once you're there, but once you've kind of booked the flight, at that point, it's like, okay, like what do I do here now?
And what do you do? Like just like internet research? Are you talking like to the concierge? Like what do you? What are some
usually
cool
it's just
tips there?
like Google and just try to find unique things, which is surprisingly hard to find. Like tourism wants you to do specific things when you go to certain places, and to find a list or to find a few tips outside of that is sometimes a challenge, but they're always out there. Atlas Obscura is a pretty good one that just kind of indexes kind of off the beaten path places, which is really cool. And if you're ever somewhere and you just have a car, you just load that up on your phone. It'll just tell you what's closest, and there's some really unique stuff on there.
Oh, that's really cool. Favorite happy accident?
Favorite happy accident is one that actually took some planning, and it was a Facebook targeted ad that I found for to go to Antarctica.
Okay.
And that was kind of the first thing that I'm like, oh, that is a possibility. Like that wasn't even in my realm of like places that I would ever think to go. And then I saw that one ad and I was like, oh, like people do this. This is a thing that you can just like go and do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where that started, and that was one of the greatest life experiences ever.
So happy accident of actually clicking on a Facebook ad and seeing where it leads you. That's crazy.
And
one place that you haven't been that's kind of on the radar that you want to make something cool happen?
there is a panda kindergarten in China.
What's a panda kindergarten?
It is exactly what it sounds like. It's where they do all the breeding for giant pandas.
That's
and
awesome.
It's you've probably seen videos of it. They're on like teeter-totters and slides and stuff. So I want to go there, but it's in the middle. Like I haven't been anywhere close to there to kind of book that extra day.
Where is it?
I think it's in like Sichuan somewhere.
Okay.
Shenzhen or something. It's
got it. Somewhere over there.
Yeah, it's not. I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to Shanghai, but I've never been more into the mainland. So that's on the list.
Man, that's crazy. Go find your happy panda. Start traveling to live a much, much more ambitious life. Hey, if you love that episode of The Ambitious Life, I want to hook you up with a copy of this, the latest issue of Thought Leader magazine. And in it, I share how you can create a media empire while you grow your business. Just head on over to ambitious.com/magazine and I will hook you up.